relationship also. So, and he's a person who loves to read, write, track, and enjoy long drives with friends. And he has been a very proactive person who has been always with us from the first conferences and initiatives that TWT Pune has taken us. So, over to you, Prashant. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Let's hear from Prashant now.
Okay, here I am. Can you see me in here? Can anyone confirm?
Yes, Prashant.
Okay, so as Vidhi mentioned, like who is Prashant, I just wanted to show my face also, so that you all are aware, okay, whom you guys are interacting with. Okay, but for the benefit of me and everyone, I'll just switch off my camera and then I'll go to this directly on the slide and start the topic. And maybe when required, I'll come back. Okay. Okay, so let me share my screen quickly, and then you will see my deck. Can anyone confirm if they can see?
Yes, Prashant.
Yes, we can see.
Okay, so definitely this is one of the interesting topic. As you all are aware, this is not technical, but it's really very crucial for everybody's career and their person, even for, I would say, like in the personal life also. This conflict, this word itself is very important to understand, which sometimes goes unnoticed when we work in in the organization or in the life. And then also I'll be talking about the SME relationship. You must be wondering why we have added this SME relationship with conflict, but there is a reason to it. And when probably once we will be done with the presentation, you'll have a fair idea, okay, why it is and why it is mentioned here. Okay, so with this, I will also move to the slides. So although Vidhi, explained, given my introduction, like who is Prashant, but this is a little bit of, I'll take 1 minute here, where who I am. Like I'm right now a senior content and strategy analyst in MasterCard, and having 11 plus of experience in customer support and product support functions, where already Vidhi mentioned, like I have worked with automotive, aerospace, oil and gas, and now in financial domain. Okay, so these are some of the reputed companies which you see on the screen. Like I have worked with the started career in Bangalore with Studec and now with Mastercard. It's been 11-year journey of technical writing, core technical writing, and I have been enjoying this a lot. And in hobbies, you see, like I love vlogging, and you see the at the bottom of the slide, like Successful Beast. That's one of my channel, not very famous, but yeah,
Hello.
that's how I when I hello.
Yeah, sorry. Sorry for interruption. Have you sharing screen, sir? We are not able to see screen.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Screen is shared.
We,
Maybe you
yeah,
need to
yeah.
log back.
Yes, we can see. And guys, if you're facing any problem, please put it on chat. Let's not disturb the flow of our speaker. Thank you.
Okay, try re-logging in, my friend. You'll be able to see it. Okay, so I'll be talking about. I was talking about the hobbies. So I love doing blogging, stage anchoring. As you see, I'm holding a mic, and I have done this so many anchorings for my, organization as in annual functions, and being a Toastmaster VP, I have been, public speaking and driving. You see a map here. Uh, just as okay. So you see, this is the longest. And after when I drove from Bangalore to Tamil Nadu, this is one of the where I drove. And you see at the corner, here's my wife and a son, which we both together we live in Pune, Waguli, and my mom, dad at the bottom. I mean, I'm not a book freak, I'm like bookworm kind of person, but as and when I get time, I do read books, and I have added a few screenshots by Ravi Shriram, although he writes mostly on the professional rivalries, but I have read more than that. But I just pasted this snapshot, and I'm a CSPO certified, and yeah, that's pretty much a little bit about me. And now we'll move to the topic and agenda. And if you have any question, definitely you can contact me. Yeah. So, uh, so agenda for today is like definitely we'll be talking about the overview of conflict and conflict management, like what is a conflict, how do we manage conflicts, what is the importance of conflict management, and how, which is very important now, these two things which we are here in this webinar, like how to avoid conflicts and how to resolve the conflicts, which is very, very important to understand. And then again, like I mentioned, importance of having SME stakeholder good relationship, okay, and how we can work on that. How can, and we struggle, we as a writer, we struggle to win that situation when we should have a very healthy and very trustworthy relationship with our SMEs or clients, whoever. But yeah, again, the same time, I would like to put a disclaimer here, which you see at the bottom screen. This information, whatever I'm going, has no relevance to any of organization, neither my current, neither my past organization. This is only for your information and to enhance our knowledge on soft skill area, right? So, and I really like this slide because I took so much time to prepare this slide and to add animation and all, but it was a great learning for me as well. So we'll move to the topic like conflict. So although Vidhi mentioned that we'll park the question at the end, but I would like to make the session a little bit of interactive, so that you also open up and you also discuss about, because this is a subjective topic, right? It's not technical that the A is equal to B is equal to C. That's nothing. It's subjective topic you might have faced in different scenario, different situation. You might be working different projects, and you might have different opinions. So there's no concrete answer to as such, but we'll definitely highlight what is good, what is bad, and what good practices we should follow. So I would like to give you also opportunity to speak up on conflicts. So, and definitely we'll cut it. We'll keep it in limit so that we don't overshoot the time. But yeah, I want you guys to speak up, and I want to understand that, have you ever faced any conflict in your career or in your professional life? If you want to share it, you can go ahead. Anyone can unmute yourself and you can speak just for like few seconds or minute. Anyone? I'm sorry, I cannot see the screen. I can only see my slide. So if you guys can go, and don't feel hesitated, just go on.
AK has raised his hand, so you can go ahead, AK.
Yeah, hi. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Anirudh Kapoor. That is, in short, it's AK, and I'm from Delhi NCR. So basically, I'm working for HCL Technologies as a technical writer here in Noida. So the conflict, I don't know, you can call it a conflict or what exactly it is. I was in Bangalore, and it was around 5 to 6 years back. I was working for Tata Power. That too, it was a technical writer. So as you know that very well, Bangalore is a place where north and south sometimes it happens. So in my team there were people from north as well as from south. So north, that is from the north India, I was the only person. So there was a person from south who had some you can say some problem with me, but somehow I was able to manage because I was the person who was managing the team, who was assigning the work. So somehow
Oh,
there was an issue which he was having with me.
okay, great insight. I mean, is there anyone else who would like to pitch in? You're free to speak. There is no compliance issue here. I mean, I have already put a disclaimer. So, okay. So if there's no one, we'll talk. As you can see on the screen, it's really interesting images which you can see on the slide. Uh, the conflict, you see these example. This has gone so worse that the people has on the right corner has went in a kind of war, a quarrel kind of situation where people are pulling their hairs and pulling their ties and all, right. So it might go so bad also sometime, right. And in the center of the slide you can see like the ladies who are keeping her hand on her head, like she's so frustrated because of these so many undesirable conflicts, right. And the top, you see there should be a discussion of how to resolve a conflict, but people started throwing their dishes, right. I mean, their chicken leg piece, you can see they are throwing at each other, right. So but they were supposed to resolve the conflict, but they finally they went into the conflict mode. And on the left side, you see that The boss is telling, I'm your boss. I mean, perhaps you forgot I'm your boss, and you should be cordial, you should be assertive. And then the guy is telling, you only said me that I have to be more assertive. Now I'm assertive. And they're, putting their swords, and they're trying to, you know, this. And again, on the bottom, you see that we need a better process, and they are on the war. And on the top right corner of this deck, you see that two-person is sewing the boat, but in opposite direction, which ultimately will have no result. They'll be still there, and it applies anywhere, even in the professional or personal. It applies there. If you are not aligned, your outcome will be zero, right? There'll be no productivity. There'll be no business result. Okay, so why I kept all this image to make you guys understand how the conflicts are damaging the business, how conflicts are damaging the relations, how conflicts are damaging everything, which where you are, even the dynamics of the team, the environments, everything, right? So let's move to now what is conflict management. So when like we are writers, right? And I would always talk this conflict in relation with the writers, because we are writers, we are not developers, or I mean, if there are developers, which fine, but I will always talk in context of writing, that we are writers, we research on the topics, right? And the same way when I search for the word, like what is conflict in Google, what Google says. But actually the first answer is like Google says that it's a fight, which is not true always, right? It's a fight or an argument. But the second, when it says like a difference between two or more ideas or wishes, which is acceptable, okay, yeah, but not necessarily this conflict is always a fight, right? Yeah, it could be the worst situation, it could be fight or argument. And then basically what is conflict is like a clash. It's a clash when your working style doesn't agree with other working style, or your opinion doesn't match with others, right? There could be multiple reasons, there could be many reasons behind it, but it's basically a clash, a friction when you talk and then other party or the employee doesn't understand and they have disagreements. So it could be opinion and ego classes. It could be a working style, as I said, approach to solve, having common vision, but everybody has a different approach, right? Sometimes it might also happen that the person who have a less professional experience or understanding, sometimes it is opposite also. They have a very good less professional experience, but they have a very great understanding. So in both cases, it might happen. So, and then human factors. We are human beings, right? So we are human beings. So we have emotions, we have empathy, we have trust. So as soon as somebody comes to you and speak in different tone, different voice, you feel, like, no, this shouldn't be. I shouldn't be treated like that, or my opinion shouldn't be cut in between. So those kind of things, right? So we are human. So human factor comes in the picture. And what is conflict management? Like I mentioned here, that it's a process. Basically, it's a process to resolve disputes, right? So it says, the word says management. So we are managing conflicts, right? So it's a process to resolve disputes so that negative results are minimized. So whatever the disputes are there, it is very fact that we cannot avoid conflicts. It is inevitable. Whatsoever you do, there'll be conflict. But yeah, that's true that but we can minimize it. We can reduce it by, effective measures, by, utilizing different techniques or methods, right? So we have to minimize the negative result, and at the same time we have to focus on positive results, right? And some of the survey which was done on this topic, and I have taken this from internet, like the Times of India has published this, that 40% of time now managers are, spending in resolving the employees' conflict out of their total time, right? Which is very huge, right? 40% of business hours are going, which 40% of the company time is spent, the managers are spending, which is not important. I mean, which shouldn't be. That's a waste of time, I would say. But since it is important to resolve the conflicts, they spend 40% of time. And you can see, so like I said, 25 to 40% typical managers time spent on conflicts, 60 to 75% managers, they do their own job, right? Whatever they have R&R roles and responsibility. This is one of the survey from US employee workplace conflict. Like only 15% employees say that they never faced any experience, they never had any conflict, uh, in their professional career. But remaining 85% says that they had some sort of conflicts, which is huge, right? Which is very big. It means it's a very important topic, right? It means it's very important to address this. We all are working from years and years in the company, but this goes unnoticed. We think like, okay, चलता है, ये तो हर कंपनी में है, we have this कहीं भी जाओ ये तो रहेगा ही, conflicts and all. But we have to change this. We have to address it so that the results are minimized. The bad results, negative results are minimized. Okay. Now, to explain it further, there's a very funny animated video. I have kept it here, and you can see. Let me know if you can see it. Is it working perfectly? Is it okay? You can hear the voice sound in this?
I cannot hear it. And
Can you?
no.
No
Okay.
sound.
Okay. Although there is no sound, I think there is no dialogue in this, but try to understand what's happening here. You can consider me there, this fellow. Again, the same situation. Okay. Okay. So, I mean, the two fellow, you see how the difference are. Like the two fellow went into quarrel mode and they couldn't solve the conflict, but the other two variables. So just was trying to make you guys understand that there should be understanding, mutual respect, and understanding like how it should be. Now the question is like, how many of you think that the conflicts can be healthy? Although I have this slide, don't read this, but what do you think, that conflict can be healthy or not? Anyone?
Yeah, I think it depends on the situation. Sometimes it is because you get to learn a lot out of that conflict.
Right, right.
Sometimes it's not.
Yes. So you truly said the conflicts are when as soon as you hear the word conflict, it happens like we think of that as a negative word kind of thing. Like it's a conflict, it's not good. But that was a traditional thought. But that's not true always, right? A healthy conflict always results in positive business result also, right? But the important thing is that how will you diagnose it, that the conflicts which is happening in the team or in the group is healthy or unhealthy. So you have to ask the question, you have to sit back and ask the question whether how this conflict is helping the team, whether it's helping different perspective and make better decision. It's the conflict is helping the team move forward. If the answer of all these questions, like helping to build productive work relationship, helping to achieve common goal, team members debate openly, team members have tone of respect to each other, team members openly share unique perspective, team members do personal judgment. If if the answer of these questions, except the last one, I think I have to reformat that correctly. So if the answer to these questions are yes, then it's a healthy work environment, healthy conflicts, right? But at the same time, if the answers are no, then it's unhealthy. If the team members are not comfortable sharing their unique it might happen that sometimes your team members stop speaking, right, in the meetings, in the discussion. It means there's something wrong here, right? Some kind of conflicts, but the person is not opening up, and what is stopping. So we'll have to diagnose that, right? So team members shut down opposing points of view. If somebody stop, if you are trying to speak something but they tell you no, 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 you have to keep your mouth shut, let's sit, I have something to say, better say it to this. Team members, this is the personal judgment or blame others. If something goes bad, bad, they will say, no, no, XYZ person has done this. So this kind of thing is, I mean, are unhealthy conflicts, right? Team member prioritize own goals than team goal. We have a common reason, we have common goal to achieve, but for me, it's my own goal is more important than team goal. Then you might success, but there'll be ultimately the result will go in fail, and there'll be, I mean, no deliveries of the you know whatever we have to deliver or the goal. A team member does gossip about body language. This I often have seen, like people do that, like they gossip about each other, which has no benefit, but they do, which will ultimately damage the team dynamics and the goals which the team has to achieve, right? So that's what I was trying to bring it out, like how the conflicts can be healthy or unhealthy. So you have to diagnose this before going to conclude this or conclusion, like okay, what we should do next, or whether let adjust in that same situation. So we have to diagnose, and we have to then further work on that. Now, this was one of the scenario which I'll tell you from my personal experience. And although I had a situation where I had many conflicts, like, but then I brought one, and I would tell you like how I handle that, and you will also able to correlate with your professional career and some point of time when you had something similar. So what happened is like I had given a title of this scenario like fear of failure of losing control. So it happened like once I joined one of the company in the past, and when I joined, there were, of course, there were old employees. I have mentioned here old employee and new employee, but that's a story which I'm trying to tell you with me. Like there were senior writers, right? They were old writers in the team, and I joined. I got onboarded, and after some time, manager gave me one from scratch kind of project where I had to deliver something, right? As soon as I got, even the others has to help me in that project, the senior people, but one one or two person were like that. They had a fear of losing the control. They got the notions like, okay, why this fellow, the new fellow, got the project, and it happens. If you will try to correlate in your team also, if you have witnessed anywhere, so it happens like a the old employee got offended, like, okay, why this new person got, every time I was handling new projects from scratch or kind of a new where you have a lot of involvement with the stakeholder SMEs, why this new fellow got, this is not fair, right? And what he started doing, he started interfering in my project. He started telling, no, this is not correct, started demotivating me, showing some behavioral attitude, and started interfering most of the time, like, what is correct, I know the process, this is not as per style guide, this is not as per the standard or whatsoever. So he started always bothering me. And being a new employee, I started wondering, like, okay, is this a right place, I mean, am I right? Am I doing right? And those all sort of thinking, which is very obvious, which will come to your brain, right? But at the same time, I had to deliver along with them. So I thought like, and this is one of the very critical question also. If you relate in any technical writing interviews, the interviewer will ask you like, okay, have you ever faced any conflict with your team members or any conflict scenario situation? How did you address that? And that's why even you can correlate the answers here. Like I used my own mindfulness where I did my own introspection, like whether I'm doing something wrong. So I tried to, whatever I had gathered the information, whatever I have done the work so far, I tried to, witness it with the other evidences, like whether I'm following the style guide, whether I'm following the standard, whether I'm following the protocols, the compliance, the regulatory requirements. So everything I tried, and then I thought I'm going good, but there might be some different thought. So I went to the employee who were disturbing me in my work. I went and approached casually and very calmly. I told like, let's have a call over lunch or tea or coffee or something like that. So he didn't say. He said, yeah, okay, fine. I mean, and we went and literally we went and understanding what is the issue. So even I tried to convince him that you are very critical, you are integral part of the project, and your support is very important. At the same time, he said, yeah, we have nothing. He did time, but despite of that, he continued the same behavior, which happens sometimes. Then what had I don't have, because I was an individual contributor, so I used my circle of influence. Circle of influence is like you can influence only, but you cannot control. I don't had any circle of control. Control is a person who can tell directly to the person like, okay, you don't have to do this or you have to do this. So I tried circle of influence. I approached to my supervisor, but I didn't complain. Remember, we don't have to complain about that old employee, that okay, this guy is disturbing me or something. We have to give. I gave my project update. It's not I'm boosting my about myself. I projected my details of my project, talked casually, and explained one of the method which I was following in the past. Are you hearing any disturbance from me? Because there's some sound is coming.
No,
You
Prashant,
guys,
we're good.
you guys are with me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we are here. We can't, we are not able to hear anything. You can go forward. Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay, so casually I explained my project manager the project update, like whatever I had made so far, and also explain one of the method which I was following in my previous project. So I explained about the RACI. So RACI is nothing but RACI, where we clearly define the roles and responsibility of each member. Okay, so that no one should feel abandoned, or no one should feel that what is my roles and responsibility, what is my stake in this project. So I didn't complain about this employee and explain RACI. So RACI is basically is the R for responsible, A for accountable, C for, you can see here, consulted, and I for informed. So we list out all those activity and we define, okay, this activity or this task, who is responsible? It's a responsible and accountable, so that everybody got chance to for their own defined roles and responsibility. So the person who were responsible, they were actually working like us. So who can be responsible? We as a writer, we are writing, we are doing actually, we are making our hands dirty in our work, right? So we are the responsible. And accountable are the person, maybe product owner, maybe the managers or the scrum masters, they are accountable of the success or failure of the project, right? The same time, consulted. So when you start any project, you know that there are a few SMEs, there are some stakeholders whom you should consult. So those people could be consulted, right, for certain activities of that project, and the same time informed. So although we are doing this, but somebody should be informed. For example, let's see, like if your manager says like, let's take this domain knowledge initiative for department. They have given you to enhance the domain knowledge of the complete department. What you'll do, you will, it's you who has to decide the slides, it's you who will be deciding whom to include, when to present the information and all. So you have their own ownership, but at the same time your managers should be informed like where their resources are engaged, right? So by applying this RACI method, the employee came to know that, okay, even if I have a very small stake in the project, but I will get the equal credit. He will get the credit. He will get the benefit when the project will complete. He will not feel so. This was the method, and this got applied. My manager agreed to this. He applied, and then there were no such hindrance later on, right? But some case you might counter question me like, what if he does, or if he continues to do that? But that's none of our, I mean, your as the individual contributor, that's none of our your concern now, because it has gone to supervisor. He has applied the method, he or she, and even and now it's his or her outlook. Even if uh, they find okay, this guy is not working as per expectation, they can directly go and make him understand. Let's see why it is important, why this Rasi method is important, how your rule is important. Likewise, he can control. But you are done. You have done your. You have resolved your conflicts, right? So that was one of my story which I wanted to discuss. And same way you have to explain in the interview as well. Like you don't have to go in complaint mode. First, you should approach to the peers who with whom you are facing conflicts. Go in one-on-one setup, one-on-one discuss affirmatively, very cordially, and then if the problem gets resolved, that's very fine, very good. If not, then go to supervisor, but don't go in complaint mode. So it's nobody wants to listen to complaints, right? So go and give the solution, right? Give the clarity how we can, and then listen to supervisor also, like how we can solve this problem together. So that was one of the scenario which I wanted to bring. Now coming to very interesting topic, conflict management. Is there any question or anything which you like to, or would like to talk anything which you have experienced, or are we good?
Prashant, there are questions in the box, so that I think we can take it at the end.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. So now coming to the point, like now by now you understood how the conflicts and how it can be managed. But let's talk a little bit more here. Like why there's the importance of conflict management, why it should be there in every company, and why we should have a management for this. So I believe that when there is a conflict, it ruins everything, right? It ruins the your relationship with the peers. It ruins the relationship with the. It ruins the dynamics of the team. Nobody likes. They start hating each other, which will definitely damage the business result. So, it to have conflict management, it will definitely help in identifying the root cause of conflict. It will prevent damage in the business, like I said, and a very important attrition ratio. No company wants to lose their employees, right? You, unless because just because of conflicts, right? So attrition ratio is very important factor which HR looks into this, and it's important not to lose employees just because, and it happens when there is no conflict management. People will start feeling grudges, and then they will think, no, nobody cares for me. I am isolated. People behaves with me. My manager behaves with me like that. So I don't think this is the right place, and it happens. Obviously, it happens if there is no conflict management and there is no approach towards it. Now, to how to avoid conflicts. So my point is like never leave any problem attendant. Address it. Hit a pause button. Don't go after this even after you face the conflict and you're telling no, let's go. ये तो चलता है ऐसे ऐसे नहीं. You have to hit pause. You have to talk. You have to bring that on table to the concerned person very cordially, very affirmatively. If you don't do it, it'll keep on piling up, and it'll one day it'll be like you will leave the company or somebody will leave the company. So we don't want that, right? Mutual respect and clear rule understanding. So what happens when the rule clashes? Like I mentioned, the senior person was thinking that it is his job. So there should be clear understanding of rules, what he or she will do, what I'll be doing. Maybe there will be a planner who will help, like, okay, this job has to be done by this person or X or Y. The same time, you have to, this is very critical, communication. You have to be very effective and transparent. There shouldn't be something you're talking after the meeting and about someone, but you're not talking upfrontly. If you have, keep it transparent. If you want to talk about certain projects, certain issues, certain challenges, if you didn't understand anything, open up. You have to, and you have to make understand why others also like why it is important. You have to keep yourself motivated and also the teammates. and have a peaceful mind. Now you say, I have my very, my mind is not peaceful. You're telling have a peaceful. How can I be peaceful mind? I mean, I have a very anger problem. I can go and get very angry. So you have to practice. Even the science says like if you practice the calm behavior and you do some kind of meditation. I'm not teaching or managing, but you see on the top right corner, if you practice it, definitely you will have some relief and something you'll be able to control your emotions, right? So at the same time, how to resolve the conflicts? If there is a conflict, if somebody is in conflict with you, be a good listener. This is the biggest problem I would say nowadays. People don't want to listen others. You are listening me, that's a different thing here because we are in the webinar. But generally the practice of the human beings are like they nobody wants to listen. Everybody are in very hurry to speak. Why they do that? So because they want to prove that they are better than someone else. It happens by default, but you remember this, that listening to others is a competency you have to develop. If you don't listen, and if you listen enough, if you give chance to speak somebody and you listen, then you will have a control answers also, right? You will have a better answer than just jumping in and cutting. So be a good listener, understand the perspective, keep a positive attitude, never criticize or make fun of someone. I understand it's a very difficult etiquette, but we have to stop it. We don't have to criticize. We have to understand the problem. We have to understand if somebody is lacking. Also, we need to help instead of criticize or making fun of others. And most importantly, respectful. You see, I have also shown up here an iceberg. You remember Titanic movie, right? Where something was visible, but at the bottom in the sea, the problem was much bigger than what was seen on the top, and the Titanic, met with accident. The same thing, what we see in human being is like we see positions and behavior, but we don't see at what and we create assumptions also, right? And we sometimes we don't see and what beliefs and value he's speaking about that, at what assumptions he is speaking and what position. We generally see, okay, he spoke like that, he shouldn't have spoken like this and all those. So we go in the conflict mode, but we never understand the root cause of it. We never understand what is beneath it, right? So we should, and we create our own opinions about the humans, about the employee. So give your time, give yourself sufficient time to understand others, so that, see, life is not only about just do work and just done. We have to be very, a better version of ourselves every day. So we have to understand the assumption, beliefs, why the person is speaking like that, what could be the reason, all those things, right? Now, this is very important. Now, uh, before coming to this topic, I have like to have a question. Like, do you think that this relationship is important and why it is important? You are free to speak. Please speak up. In one line, two lines, you can speak. Anyone, please. Why do you think that client or SME relationship is very important and critical? Okay.
I think because in a team, it is necessary to move ahead together in order to move ahead fast.
Right,
So that is
right,
where
absolutely.
not just SAB or clients, but any the communication or the bond, the relationship between the team also needs to be such, because only then can we move ahead faster and reach the goal uh,
Right,
in an
right.
optimum way and in a peaceful way.
Yeah. So yeah, you said like with for in respect of the team also, but yeah, it is very important everywhere, and specifically when we talk about the technical writer community, like it's very important to have a very good relationship with your clients or SME or stakeholder, right? So it's a behavioral aspects. If there is nothing technical here, but you have to develop the relationship first, then you will get. You shouldn't be feeling like, okay, this person comes only out for the work. जब भी ये मेरे पास आता, he asks the question, he asks the input, and then he goes away. So you cannot guarantee a very good relationship out of that, right? So there is the importance, like why it is important, like it helps greater business result. If you have a very good relationship, you will be able to deliver the project very soon, very effectively with zero defects, right? Effective collaboration, you will have a cross-functional collaboration, very effective, not just for the work, but also with some other initiative or occasion. And you can vouch for that. There is effective collaboration among the team members, right? If you have a very good relationship, you will have less conflicts, less review cycle, because they will tell you exactly what they expect, and also you will understand, and that will reduce the review cycle when you keep on sending the documents. Okay, let's review, and since you understand, you have a very good relationship, he will explain to you very nicely, okay, what is expected, how we can do it. Because you don't know sometimes, when if I am right now, see, I move so many domains now, I'm in IT. So if I have a good relation, they will give me time. Okay, let's do this, Prashant, this way, right? So it's important to have less conflicts and less review cycles, right? So that we are on top of our delivery. Now the next is like greater quality and increased experience efficiency. If you have less conflict, definitely you will have greater quality and increase your efficiency will go higher than the usual. Organize and plan project execution, cross-functional teamwork, which is, yes, this is byproduct, innovation opportunity. Since you understand, the SME will give you more time about the product to explain your domain products and everything. There will be a chance when you will innovate in in your work. You can do some automation kind of things in your work, since you understand, okay, how this YAML file is working in API, how this XML is working in XR software, whatsoever the tool. So if you do, you can bring out some of the innovation, and with the help of those SMEs and clients. And finally, the cost reduction for the company. So if you have a very good relationship, definitely the company will get benefit out of it, and there'll be cost reduction in terms of low review. There will be saving of time, manpower, and right. So saving time means saving money, right? So that's how this relationship is very, very critical for any writers or anywhere in any aspects. But I'll stick to technical writing only. And yeah, so now the important thing is that you will question like how we can do this. So there is a no concrete as such, like I can give you formula, you do this and you will be able to do, but you have to develop this, right? So build trust. You will say how you will build trust. I'm working, he is supporting, that is his job. If he's not, and this is one of the biggest problem that even I have faced in my career, that the SME will not give you proper input, or sometimes not on time. They will give you the input at the last minute, because for them this is not a first priority. They have their own work, right? And what you will do as an employee, if you follow protocol, let's escalate this issue to some senior, his senior, her senior, you can do that, but the relationship will not develop, right? It will somewhere spoil everything, and on the longer term. And the trust, there will be no trust, right? So how will you trust? So to gain his trust, it's not only the work which you deliver to them, right? It is, I would say, I remember one saying, when it is said that it's not important how much you know, but how much you care. So this is a very important thing. You understand this? Like, it's not like, oh, you know this, you know domain, you know this writing and all, you know standards and everything, but how much you value them, those SMEs, how much you hear them. So make them feel valued, um, make them understand like how important they are for this business, or their inputs are. Hear them properly. Sometimes try to know that how, what SME like, what common attributes you guys have. Maybe he would be a good TT player, right? A table tennis player, right? So you try to identify those hobbies and try to align with him. If you don't know, sometimes you walk with him, sometimes go with a lunch, and if he doesn't have time, probably you can have initiate that discussion. Okay, I was struggling in this information, and I thought like let's meet on the lunch and discuss. So he will try to answer your question sometime, and with over table tennis also he can discuss you with something. And later, even I have faced this, that's what I'm telling you, that I practiced in one of the organization, and the SME In the beginning, I had to request him to play the table tennis and let's do. Later part, he was requesting, yeah, abhi to I am done with so much work and let's go for table tennis for half an hour. And then that's how you build a relationship, right? And most importantly, you have to communicate effectively. You have to stick to point, communicate effectively what is your expectation, what you want, how, what is the status of your project, and then stay in touch. It shouldn't be like you delivered and you're talking, you're informing, you delivered the work and you still need have something, but you're informing him after 1 month or something. Try to be in touch. Let him know that you're working. Let him know that here is a small update and I have worked on that. So try to be in touch with their SMEs so that they don't lose you, neither you lose them, right? And effective listening, like I said, is very important. Try to be curious to know how it happens so that they also feel good to explain. When you become curious, people will try to answer you if they know. Do pre-analysis or draft, which is very important. If you go work, if you're working, suppose for example, there's a product called Outlook server, right? So you try to do some kind of pre-analysis of the work, understand what is this, how it works and all. So if you have some kind of understanding, probably you can approach and then you can, it will help you. They will also understand that you have done some kind of pre-work, right? Plan your work meeting queries. As you know, they are very busy. You cannot plan your meetings for 1 hour, right? If you plan for 1 hour, it's a tendency that they will try to skip it. Just reduce it, make it 15 or half an hour. Try to send your queries well ahead in the email so that you can connect in 15 minutes and they will have their answers ready before coming to the meeting. Instead of, if you do go in the meeting and started asking questions, which is a very surprise, so it'll be difficult for him. They will also take time, and also better plan your queries, send it on the mail, set a frequency, reduce the frequency of the meeting or the tenure of the meeting, and try to then if it's 15 minutes, everybody will like, okay, let's go for 15 minutes, just a 15 minutes. Add value addition. If you just keep on doing the monotonous work, here should be like, try to add value, try to look for the things. If you can add image there for the text, if you can add animation there, what is the animation capability, try to enhance the tools which you are working on, try to give ideas like what can we do this way or that way. So there's a value addition in every work, right? At the same time, develop product knowledge, which I have kept at the bottom, which is very difficult at. But relationship, why I told about all these, like relationship is a human factor. It's not like always with the product knowledge or technical. It's, yeah, it helps you to have a good product knowledge, but that's a technical thing, right? And that will not be within a week or 2 weeks. It takes time, right? Technical knowledge and product knowledge, and then encourage feedback. Try to ask the feedback how we can improve better, right? So these are very, very important things which I feel should be there with every client and relationship, and this will definitely help in growing together. So I think I have this pretty much with my slide, and yes, we can talk more.
Okay, thank you, Prashant. Like it was really very deep insights about conflict management, and basically we understood what is basically a conflict and how to resolve it. That was more important for us because getting into a conflict is easy, but resolving it takes really much of efforts. So we'll start reading out the questions from the chat box first, and then maybe if we have time left, we can open it for people if they want to come unmute themselves and they can talk. Prashant, I would request you to please unshare your screen because we can see your team's chat. So yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
I
and you can
see
come on
first
overcome.
question.
Let me read it out for you.
Okay.
Yeah, you can unshare and I'll read it for you. So yeah, so Amol has asked this question. My mentor and manager both are same one person. It becomes difficult to balance equation. From one side, there is a pressure to say yes to instructions. From other side, I don't know how to express either small disagreement. Another better way of doing the same thing. What are the best techniques to handle?
Okay, which is a really very important question, I would say, and it happens like when you have mentor and manager, same person, and but understand there is one mantra in everything in handling these kind of small conflicts. You have to be very calm. Okay, you don't have to quick to answers, and we have to don't give explanation to this, right? You need to understand that you have to think that how will I act. You have to keep yourself in their shoes and think like, okay, why this question is, why we have to uh, why he has this question. And when you think that way, probably you'll have answer like, okay, how to respond this, right? So yeah, there could be this small disagreement, but together with a calm approach and understanding his or her perspective, probably you will have to bring on the table and discuss like, okay, this is a challenge which I'm trying to face, trying to, what do you suggest? And put this question in for them only, and they will help you. As I said, there could be, you might disagree with my answer, but there is no concrete as such, but this is the way I would try to do it.
Amol, do you want to come over, unmute yourself, and do you want to like ask any question, what to answer what he has answered to a question to it?
No, fine. I got it.
Okay, cool. Shall I go
Thanks a lot.
next question? Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks.
So Kunal is asking that how will decisions be made if there are disagreements about the direction of the project? What is the process for resolving conflicts between stakeholders? What strategies will be employed to encourage open and respectful communication amongst team and team members?
Okay,
Like these are
so yeah,
different
yeah,
questions.
yeah, it's a different side of the question, but yeah, it's very important. Like I mentioned with the stakeholder, resolving conflict first, you need to build the trust, and then I think they'll you will minimize the conflicts having with the stakeholder. Once you develop the trust with them, like, okay, why why the writer is asking like this query, or why he is very much aggressive on the input, or so if stakeholder understand your pain point, then probably definitely they will help you. Okay, and as I mentioned, how you can build the trust, you try to follow those techniques, and definitely you will be having a fruitful discussion, and they will help you on the like on which direction we have to move. I think so. This way we can, it will help.
Kunal, do you want to add something?
Yeah, of course. Go ahead.
No, nothing actually. I just want to cover it up because Prasant and I work on the same company,
Oh yeah.
Kunal only.
Oh, it's Kunal Datta, right?
So
It's just coming Kunal here.
I,
Yeah. Hi, Kunal.
yeah, so yeah, hi Prasant. So in my project, there are stakeholder who works on the different time environment. So and that stakeholder list is also not fixed. So one time you communicate with someone, and the next time there will be different stakeholder. So coming to the trust part, yes, you can build a relationship over a time, uh, and but there will be strategies you need to follow. And in my experience, you need to whatever requirement you are getting, try to get it through the written format. Because
Yeah,
if the
like I
stakeholder
mentioned,
is
you can,
changing,
yeah, send your queries up front in the email, or and then you can discuss those discussion in the meetings and then resolve it so that they are prepared, because you have a different time zone, right? So that way we can do practice.
Okay. So Radhika, Hari, thanks Prashant for the use case. Thanks for this use case, Prashant. Envy or disruption of our work due to a less competent peer is quite common at workplace. So yeah, we
Yeah,
have a
it
question.
happens, but don't
Yes,
think
sorry.
that way that you have envy in your team. Or I understand they'll be less competent, and this is where you conflict arises also. Like when you start thinking that the person is less competent, don't if the person you think that is less competent and not there is a trust factor that whether this person will be able to deliver or not, try to help them, try to go on the table and help the peer, and then make them understand how we can together we can solve the problem, right? But yeah, you said this are there in many organizations, but we have to tackle it very carefully. Yeah, Vidhi, go ahead.
I think the
Shalaka, do you
last
want to
question.
read it? Yeah, the last
Yeah.
question, which is there in the chat.
Yeah. So we have a last question now, and this is also by Kunal. So he's asking that how will feedback and review process be structured to minimize conflicts during editing and approval stages? In case of conflicts involving external stakeholders, how will you approach resolution to ensure their needs are met while aligning with project goals?
So this conflicts are about the review. So we should have a defined review process in our team where I won't talk about like my current organization, but in general, I will tell that there should be a mechanism and a review, clear defined review process, like your work first. There should be a self-review method, and there should be a defined checklist for that, how you will do the self-review. Then there should be a peer review. So there should be a correct hierarchy in terms of review as well, where your senior review peer will review the work after your self-review, and there will be dedicated checklist for peer review as well. And then the everything that errors are fixed, then probably you will approach to SME reviews. And of course, for SMEs also there should be a dedicated checklist. So, and then if everything is done, then they'll go to product owner. So if we follow this mechanism of review process, then probably we'll have less conflict, because all those questions we whatever we are coming in the review process, we have already handled it, and that way we can minimize. So I think that's the answer. And involving external stakeholder. Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you, Prashant.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Can you hear us?
I think he can't. There's some glitch. He's not speaking. Prashant, can you hear us?
We got
Okay.
disconnected.
Yeah, meanwhile,
Let's wait for
anyone has any question other than, because this is the last question we can see in our chat box. You can, once Prashant join and he finishes with the answer, you can come, unmute yourself and speak. So since we have like 2-3 minutes left, so we can have few more questions, like one or two. I think we let's wait for him.
Let me check with him.
Yeah,
I
please
have
do.
one pointer for the audience here. So like generally in real life, it said, you do your work diligently, rest of the things will fall in place. So now when you talk about project management and conflict management, do you think it matters if you do your work properly, then whomsoever has problem with you, it will get automatically resolved? Anybody has personal experience of that?
Udit,
No?
I
No,
have.
I don't
It
think it
doesn't.
works like
Okay,
that.
yeah, Zui, sorry.
No, sorry. I mean, what I was saying that no, it doesn't work like that. How much ever diligently we may work and do our part best, there is still some level of conflict.
I agree with Zoe, because people have tendency to poke in your work. So if you're working, everything is fine. You're doing your work, but people will poke in. So yeah.
Yeah, I think it also comes from the fact that, we people are not on the same page always. So how much ever sincerely I may work, the efforts are not going to be seen in that right spirit, because that other person, or there may be multiple, are not on the same page. So I think
Yeah,
everyone must have gone
right.
through this
I'm sorry,
sometime.
guys. The internet had there was a glitch. Uh, I joined through mobile. You
No
cannot.
worries.
Yeah. So yeah, the same. I was telling about like how we can avoid conflicts with external stakeholder. So it is really important that and that's why we have this agile methodology. When your all stakeholders are in aligned with you, so they are aware, okay, what is happening, what is going, what are the expectation, and try to bring them in every, like you can have one-on-one, you can schedule the meetings every time, and then you can keep them aligned, right? And the agile methodology also solve that purpose, so that there shouldn't be any last time surprises. So if we approach with this kind of methods, I think we can definitely reduce the last minute conflicts and any questions from them.
Okay, cool. Anyone, any other questions? They can come quickly on mute, unmute themselves and talk. Okay, I think everyone has understood everything. Okay, over to you, Prachi. Thanks again, Prashant, for this wonderful session. So I'm giving over to Prachi so she can just thank everyone and we can just end the session. Over to you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Prashant. This was really an amazing session. Like why people have now understood, like instead of avoiding conflicts, they can solve it, they can talk and solve the issues. So thank you, Prashant, for this, and thank you everyone.